How can we fund roads, bridges, water, sewer, and other infrastructure needs off of a gas tax that has not changed since 1993? Can we create a variation of the Depression-era WPA or CCC in order to build our country's infrastructure and employ more people?
Well, the transportation and infrastructure mechanics in the United States is in trouble right now. There's no doubt about it. And these things are important to all of us, for our businesses, for our daily lives. And we were able to pass funding, albeit it was in a slick move to some degree. With pensions, we agreed that that should not be the way to do it. But we did keep our work going through the summer, and we need to come up with a long-term plan. Our transportation infrastructure is vital, especially to this area. We look at Eastern Corridor, we look at the Spence Bridge. But there are ways that we can increase our funding. The gas tax isn't cutting it. There's many people driving cars that don't use gas and using our roads. But we have opportunities that are out there, and there's many good ideas, many bipartisan, as a matter of fact, such as being able to repatriate so much of the money that businesses are leaving overseas. And if we can incentivize them to bring it back, we can gear that towards our transportation and infrastructure. But we do need a long-term solution. People need certainty, and we can do this, but we have to come together and figure out a long-term plan. And we have to be creative, and I think that there are options out there. And as I mentioned, I think one of the best ways that we should consider is being able to decrease our taxes so more money stays in the United States, and also incentivize those to bring money back so they can go towards transportation and infrastructure. And there are some legislation on the table for that.
Thank you. Mr. Tyszkiewicz, shall I repeat the question?
No, I don't. So I agree that it was a slick move using the pension smoothing to fund the Highway Trust Fund. And if you haven't heard about this, you know, what happened was Congress voted to fund it. The Highway Trust Fund is bankrupt. They voted to fund it for another 10 months using something called pension smoothing. And what this means is corporations essentially are allowed to skip contributing to the pension plan or contribute reduced amounts. You think, well, how does that raise money? Well, these contributions are tax deductible. So now the corporations look more profitable, and so they're taxed more. And so that's where the revenue comes. But it's smoke and mirrors, because what happens down the road when they actually have to make those pension contributions? You know, they look less profitable and less taxes come. So the Highway Trust Fund was funded with this temporary scheme. I actually, on my website a few weeks ago, published my jobs plan. One of the key plans was how to actually fund the Highway Trust Fund. So the 18.4 cent gallon tax, 24.4 cents for diesel, it's not enough. It raises about $38 billion. The Highway Trust Fund spends $53 billion. So we're like $15 billion short. And you know we're not going to be able to raise the gas tax. So I looked at it and I looked at the numbers. I said, well, if the gas tax isn't enough for the reasons Mr. Wenstrup said, let's repeal it. You know, that's a $38 billion stimulus to the economy and hardworking people. Businesses don't have to pay as much for gas. Now let's replace the money that's lost with a tax on derivative trading, right? These are the guys who got us into trouble with speculative trading in the first place. You know, who benefits better from a strong infrastructure than Wall Street? Their companies are strong and balance sheets are strong. So the tax, a small 1 to 2% tax on derivative trading, raises $63 billion, $10 billion more than is needed. So not only can I fund the Highway Trust Fund, I can give an extra $10 billion to create even more projects. And at the same time, it reduces volatility in pension plans.